I'll give you a thumbs up.
Strata, strata, strata. There are so many out there. We're going to reveal what you need to know and how to spot a spunky strata building.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Good morning.
Well, a very good morning, Billy.
We're going to be on the search with a magnifying glass today for a spunky strata report and a good strata building. What does that look like?
Yeah.
We'll tell you in the next 5-10 minutes or so.
Yeah. And look, this is a really interesting topic. There are so many apartment complexes out there, particularly in DY, where it is so densely populated with all of these units. So it's really good for you to know how to spot a really well-maintained strata complex if you're thinking about buying into one of these units.
Yeah, it's obviously a fundamental part of your due diligence, looking through the history of the building, getting to know what's potentially being talked about, what's approved, what's going on, and then making a call as to whether you want that to be a part of your responsibility as well, because there is a commitment there once you purchase a property as a part of strata, to be able to be involved with the discussion there and make contributions towards those common area works.
I do think that being involved in a strata scheme actually comes with so many benefits that outweigh the cons. You're in a complex where all of the other lot owners share the expenses as well. It's not all falling onto one particular person like it would if you were to be a homeowner and have a standalone Torrens title house. You'd have to fork out all of those expenses yourself. When it comes to a strata complex, you're sharing those fees amongst everyone.
Yeah, spot on. So where in a Torrens title home, you have to fix the fence when it breaks. You have to keep the facade of the house looking nice every 5-10 years. Gardening, things like that. Any area that's common in a strata plan is generally maintained by someone external, and their fees are covered and split evenly based on entitlement. So not every unit pays the same amount. Some apartments might be bigger than others. Some townhouses might be bigger than others. Obviously, it all gets divided up and worked out evenly. But the idea is that they set a bit of a 10-year plan, which is in every strata report, and it's all about just working towards the common goal of adding value to the block and keeping it, at its best, keeping it tidy and letting everyone use, the areas as well as they can.
Yeah. And so when it comes to buying into one of these buildings, like Billy said, it is part of your due diligence to read the report. So some of the most commonly asked questions we get asked about strata reports, and some of the things that you should really be looking for as well when you do purchase these, is the finances. So look into what is the current financial situation of this strata complex, what's in their capital works fund, what's in their administration fund. Now, the capital works fund is more commonly known as the sinking fund, and this is a fund that would be to do any of the works that are upcoming, any remedial works, proposed works, and then you've got that admin fund, which would be just the day-to-day maintenance of the block. So it's a really good idea to understand those finances for the building. Then when you're looking through the report, what's next, Billy? Maybe some works?
Yeah, looking at the history of the building, every strata report will record previous works, proposed works, and then approved works. So previous works obviously gives you a really good understanding of what's potentially already been done, meaning you're coming in at the tail end of that expense. You don't need to worry about that. Proposed works, obviously what's being talked about, what they're forecasting, and then approved works is basically what you're accepting responsibilities to take contributions, make contributions for once ownership has changed. So that's important to understand. And one sort of tip here to the buyers going through properties on the weekend, guys, it's expensive to download these strata reports if you're doing it for every open home you're attending. We generally only recommend it if you're getting to the point of negotiations or once making an offer. You can look at some of this stuff based on sort of face value and just apply a bit of common sense. The big ticket items in these previous proposed and approved works to look out for are fire upgrades. That's probably number one. Number two would be balconies, looking at if they're original, looking at the facade of the building, whether you can identify if there's going to be some work needed, not only structurally, but just cosmetically. Quite commonly around the northern beaches, where we find some of our older 70s, 60s style brick buildings, sometimes they need to do a bit of work with balconies. That could be waterproofing, it could be balustrades, it could be a couple of different things, concrete cancer, sometimes closer to the beach. That's another big ticket expense that a block needs to cover if it comes up. And so between those two, obviously looking at whether they've done any firework upgrade work, whether they've got any upgrades throughout the balconies, whether they've upgraded windows, just general safety things. You can obviously get a bit of an understanding whether they're a proactive block and they've done some of that work, or whether they're going to be a bit more responsive to when a council order comes through.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know what? Having special levies isn't something to be afraid of. It just means that the strata committee is really active in maintaining your complex and making it fire compliant, doing those remedial works, making sure it's insured so that the building doesn't fall apart. So in the long run, this is going to be adding value to your property. And as we all know, real estate is a long game. It's not a short game. So don't be too afraid of those levies. Various strata companies finance those levies differently. It might be due in one lump sum, or they might space it out over the course of 5 or 6 quarterly payments. So ask your real estate agent as well about these these works and how they're being financed, because it is something seriously to consider when you do want to put that offer forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, every block has something, guys. You'll never find a strata report that has got nothing going on. It's like a house. There's always something you can fix, repair, improve. So there's always a conversation. When you go through the strata report, you'll find the AGM minutes, which is the annual general meeting. That's where all the owners come together and they basically talk about what their forecast is for the year ahead. There's always going to be something there. So it's not something to be worried about. Obviously something to just price in when you're making your offer. And all of this work is, strata money is not burnt or buried. That's a really good saying we use in the office, because you've got to remember it's all adding value. It's not kind of being, thrown under the mattress and, you'll never see it again. It's all being used to add value in ways or, make improvements.
Yeah. So I think in terms of looking at a strata report, those are the really primary things that you do want to look for. Get an understanding of the financial situation, what's happening in the AGM, proposed works, upcoming works, past works, all of that. I think having an understanding of those tools, those items in particular, will really give you a thorough understanding of the block. There are so many other components in the strata report, though, that we don't have time to go into. Your solicitor is always a good one just to pass the report on to, should you have downloaded it, and get their little advice as well. Yeah. As our real estate agents too, we have a pretty good understanding of how to read them.
Yeah, if you ever need help, just reach out, let us know, and we can certainly help or point you in the right direction. But that's it. It's something to go through in your own time. Generally speaking, you can actually get the agent to organize a strata report for you. It's not expected as a buyer, generally speaking, to organize your own strata report. That can be quite expensive. Yeah. So the way we organize these for our prospective buyers is a 2-part installment. You pay a small deposit to read the report, and then if you go on and purchase the property, there's a second installment. But yeah, all of these things are generally available at the open home, so you can just ask for the link to download the report, and off you go.
Yeah.
You'll be a strata wizard in no time.
Alrighty. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Have a good day. See ya.